right, Allison, your kids right now are with their uncle installing a geocache somewhere in the greater Newburyport, Newbury, West Newbury, Merrimack area of Massachusetts. So there you go. If you do geocaching stuff with your kids, you may be getting...
I think adults do it, too.
You may find the Shattuck Geocache. Who knows what it'll say. But it's near the Merrimack River. I can tell you that much. I saw them down there, and they were having a lot of fun. And all is good. All is well. I'm going to entertain us both right now, Alice. Do you want to listen to the zany Northwest airline flight attendant?
Northwest airline? I thought
Southwest,
Southwest.
sorry.
Okay.
Is there a Northwest?
I don't even know if there is. I mean,
Here we go. Here's the flight attendant. He's got the flotation device on his head.
Just shown in the safety information card.
Oh, he's
Place
dancing.
the vest over your head. Wrap the strap around your waist.
He's pretending he's a cowboy.
And pull too tight.
Now he's doing some kind of sensual act. It's actually not great. He threw the infant and proceeded to strut down the aisle. Let's see.
Finally, light flow into the tube at your shoulder. Your vest has a light that turns on automatically in the water.
I hate him. I
figured you're not really one for any zany flight attendants.
Well,
really.
I thought it might be interesting. I thought we might have something interesting happening here. Now, there have been a number of polls today, Alice, including one that Jim Garrity wrote about where Joe Biden is doing terribly. His approval numbers, competency numbers are like in the 30s, etc.
Yeah.
We talked about this last night some.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that things like the administration's, I mean, what they've done, and this is somebody else's take, but it's how I feel. Biden sold his soul to the left, to the hard left,
right,
when he came into office, and they hate him for it. And the people who thought they could get something done, just end of Trump, so it's time for some cool, calm, and collected behavior, they hate him too.
Right.
I think the problem with the Biden administration, it actually reminds me, we were talking about the real world and bad people.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Puck from the real world, like being one of the first really together horrible, abysmal human beings on the earth. This is my generation. This was something that we would watch this, and this kid Puck, he was rude. He was somewhat violent. He was dishonorable. He was gross. He was ugly. He was crass. He was selfish. He was just a wretched MF. And of course, he got very popular. So people tried to be the Puck of their real world. So in other words, terrible behavior paid off. This administration they're perfectly awful in every way. And I've never seen, he's getting the judges would hold up all 10s on everything, including, attitude, absolute condescension, the gaslighting again and again. They don't acknowledge a problem, then they, flame you for asking about something, and eventually they acknowledge it and blame it on something else. It's okay. So that it is zero responsibility, zero accountability, total arrogance, and total incompetence.
Right.
They have all the wrong personality traits. Everything.
It's true. And Ron Klain is sitting around on Twitter today retweeting Dana Milbank at the Washington Post had an opinion piece called Give Biden a Break. For weeks, Democrats have arrayed themselves in a traditional circular firing formation complaining about the president. Here's the deal, Democrats. You need to give Joe Biden a break. My latest column. And this is what Ron Klain's doing, is he's searching the internet for anyone, anywhere, who will throw Biden a bone and say maybe he's not doing such a terrible job after all, and retweeting that. Instead of doing something about the disaster that is this administration. Retweeting opinion writers on Twitter doesn't do anything.
Well, yes. What it's doing is saying, stop having traditional standards for anything we're doing.
Right.
And just snap onto it. Just you change. everybody,
The problem is your opinion. The problem isn't us.
Yes, the problem is you're looking at you need to turn the channel on what you expect from us.
Right.
Because
I mean,
we're not going to do
could
anything.
the people inside the White House make some decisions on some actions they could take to deal with literally any problem that's happening?
You know what a good question would be for, and I don't know if she's been asked, for Karine Jean-Pierre, is if we're at war.
Oh, yeah. Because he keeps saying it's a time of war and gas stations need to lower their prices.
Yeah, we're taking all the, austerity measures or, all-in war effort measures, apparently, that they took in World War II. But I believe in that war, we were directly engaged in war.
Yeah.
So if
It's
we're
a time
in
of war,
then I think we should go try to win it or end it. Rather than simply keep paying for it so we can watch, old, once beautiful cities get flattened to the ground. I mean, Putin is willing to have as many Russian troops killed as it takes. He doesn't care. This is the Russian way. According to the people that I've talked to, they're used to this. They're used to life sucking. So why are we in a war of attrition? Why have we essentially put an umbilical cord from us to Ukraine? And if we have one, I understand. Putin's a big dickhead. I get it. Zelensky is what a story, and the Ukrainian people, that's fine. And I actually like the colors of the flag, which you're wearing right now.
Not on purpose. This is my high school
and all
colors.
this. Okay. So, and I get it, but if we're then at war, if it's a time of war, then let Zelensky hit the Russian mainland. Let Zelensky win the war.
Right.
Now, if there's a chance that they're going to get nuked for that, well, hey,
I mean, I also reject the premise that us paying more for gas at the gas station somehow hurts Putin.
Right.
That's fake. Driving gas prices up because we refuse to do business with Russia, that only helps him because he can sell his oil for more. And to countries that we don't like, like China. So it's not hurting Putin that we're paying $5 a gallon at the gas pump. That doesn't hurt Putin. And not to mention, I mean, most of the rise in prices was before the invasion of Ukraine. This is, I mean, that exacerbated it, obviously, because it was a shock to the markets. But this isn't something that's solely due to that. So I know they love to tweet out #Putin price hike, but it comes back to the fundamental problem that they think this is a messaging issue still. That they haven't explained it to you well enough, what a great job that they're doing. And if they they try different tones. Sometimes they cajole you. Sometimes they try and bribe you by getting a cute cat. Sometimes they, vaguely threaten you, like the op-ed that Ron Klain is retweeting saying, you need to give him a break. Cut out your antics, all of you. You need to get in line. Come on. Sometimes they're sort of trying to give you the tough talk to get in line with the Biden administration. So they do it with different tones, but they're still fundamentally trying to figure out what the way is they can talk to us to make us like the Biden administration. And they haven't found it yet because they suck. And they suck in a fundamental underlying way at doing everything that makes the country go. So it doesn't really matter what Karine Jean-Pierre says or what Jen Psaki says or whoever it is standing at the podium. What they say when they're standing up there isn't actually changing the price of stuff at the grocery store. And that's what most people vote on, right? I hate to tell you, I know the Roe v. Wade thing is out there, but I bet you there's half the country that doesn't even know what Roe v. Wade is, doesn't know that the Supreme Court did anything with any of it, and frankly, doesn't really care. That is so obscure. What people do care about is if they have enough money to buy groceries and fill their car.
Of course.
And at the end of the day, you can't fake that. And that's a big problem for them. You can't spin it. You can't fake it. You can't talk people out of believing that they're seeing what's happening. There's just not a way around it.
That article that you read yesterday from CNN, which I read today, You read it on the air, right? I can never remember.
Yeah, a chunk of it.
That is effing devastating. I read it today fresh for the first time. And not only is it just full of clean shots at the Biden administration and of incredibly detailed pictures of disarray and chaos.
Right.
But like the writer rose to the occasion. It's written brilliantly.
Right.
It is a long read that reads like a short read. It is wonderful. Just read the lead. Do you remember it?
Off the top of my head, no, I'd have to go back and look. For
I can read it.
Have it teed up here.
I can read it
go ahead.
because I tweeted it.
Go ahead.
The lead. Debra Messing was fed up. How effing perfect. What a condemnation of that is there, of this White House already. Some has-been Hollywood progressive wacko, certainly unstable, I've always found very attractive, nuts, is fed up. And she has the ears of the White House. She's had enough of trying to help them. Help them.
Right. Well, just the fact that they're on the phone with a bunch of celebrities explaining to them what they need to post on TikTok to help the administration combat the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. Like, no, that doesn't actually do anything. Getting the celebrities to post on TikTok, having the gay boy with the long fingernails record a funny video with Jen
Well, he's not
Psaki.
gay, Alice. And if he was, I'm not sure you're allowed to call him the gay boy, by the way. Just so you
Is
know.
that not allowed?
But he is a boy, technically. I guess. I don't know.
Is he not gay?
I don't think he is. I don't know what he is. Everybody's gay now who's under 30, so I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, well, whatever. Having the kid with the long fingernails do a funny video with Jen Psaki where he pretends to be working at the White House. Like, this doesn't solve the problems of the American people. But the fact that they're right now...
Don't move off of that. Don't move off of that.
Okay.
It wasn't just that. He's working at the White House now with Jen Psaki.
Well, he's not really.
Alice.
Okay.
I know he's not really, Alice.
Sorry.
Just so you know, he's not really working at the White House.
Sometimes
Okay.
I don't know how dumb you actually are.
The fact is that they put on this parody of this freak dude, showing him in a position at the White House being purely detached and incompetent.
Right.
You do that if you're a competent White House. You don't do that if you are an incompetent White House. Because that dude now is Karine Jean-Pierre. We have the real thing now. We actually have incompetence in this White House. We have disarray in this White House and disloyalty, and it's falling apart.
Right.
This White House is the Uvalde police. And listen to this, Alice. Here's a new headline. This is how this White House is the Uvalde police. Headlines. Report details more missed chances in Uvalde school shooting. Officer had gunman in sights outside of building. Never shot.
Yeah, apparently he asked permission from his superiors to shoot and did not. Which is incredible to me. I can't.
But like,
I also can't think about this shooter in Illinois whose parents 3 months after he threatened to kill the whole family to such a serious extent that they called the police and had the police confiscate all his knives that he apparently had a big collection of in his closet. Right. 3 months later, the dad sponsored him to get an underage gun permit.
First of all, even like, why is there all his knives?
I know, like what?
The kid painted a picture of a school shooter on the side of his house
with a smiley face on it.
Right.
Exactly. Like, very normal stuff, I think. Like, I mean, just the fact, I mean, if your kid gets a neck tattoo, like, that's red flag 1 that you don't get them a gun permit, right?
Yeah, if your kid looks like that kid.
Right. He's a walking human red flag.
Yeah, he's a psycho. That's right.
So
I'm sorry about this. How old was he? Shooter?
22.
First of all, the fact that he's living at home is my first red flag. Go away.
He was working at Panera.
Okay, it's time for him to go now.
Some psycho chick who was in love with him did a big interview with like the New York Post or somebody about how she thinks it's because she didn't date him that he went crazy. And she feels really bad about it now. Mostly I think he didn't care about her or about anything at all. But she worked with him at Panera, so that's how I know he worked at Panera. But yeah, if your 22-year-old has the disposable income and interest to go get a bunch of like neck and face tattoos and is like painting cartoons of school shooters on the side of your house, maybe like rethink everything about the situation of them living at your house and everything therein. And definitely don't help them get a firearms license. Like, just a thought. I don't know. It seems insane to me.
Here's Kamala Harris to the rescue.
Yeah, what we need to do domestically, what we need to do to bring down the cost of gas. Well, right? Right?
I seen a meme the other day that said me Googling online how to make gas at home. Okay?
Ooh, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Hilarious.
Yeah, what we...
Thank you, Madam Vice President.
By the way, we've got this video that you've sent as well with these climate activists who shut down a highway in Maryland.
Yes.
And some of the drivers are angry, including one who's on parole, who rips the signs away and starts trying to move people. Mm-hmm. He got physical with them, it says. I don't know, did the cops arrive by the time he was
The police
still there?
arrested him, yeah.
They arrested him?
Yes.
The guy who was moving people off of the street?
He was trying to get physical with the protesters. They warned people not to get physical with the protesters, and he was...
Even though he said he had to get...
He had to get to his job or he was going to go to jail because he was on parole, yes.
This is not how you change things.
Okay, so here's my feeling on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like pleading with them, please just open one lane. I need to go to my job so that because I am on parole and I'm going to go to jail if I do not show up to work.
Here's my feeling on these people who block the highways.
Mm-hmm.
I do not recommend that people run people over if they're in the highways.
Mm-hmm.
I do not recommend that people hit the gas and send these people flying 500 feet in the air or just crush them dead. I do not recommend that whatsoever.
Okay.
Whatsoever.
Okay.
At all. And I don't encourage it.
Mm-hmm.
That said, if it happens, I'm fine.
You're not going to lose sleep.
I'm absolutely fine. I'm fine. You know what? It has to be a rolling the dice situation when you sit in the middle of the road.
Well, right. And you're screwing with other people's lives.
Right.
When you sit in the roads are places where people who have real things to do are. Whether it's you need to get to your job because you're on parole, or whether it's you need to get somebody to the hospital who's very ill, or whatever it is, right? Like, whatever it is, the roads are for people who need to go places, not for you to sit and make a point about the climate, a point which may or may not even be true, like we don't even really know. But yeah, I mean, props to, I think it's like Ford Fisher, the guy who he goes to a lot of protests and records a bunch of raw video footage and stuff, but he does a great job and that for getting that footage of that guy, because it is very moving. Like the idea that these people are standing in your way and they're so compassionate and such good people and so nice that the work they're doing is so important that they're going to screw up your life possibly for a very long time.
It's wonderfully, just introspective too,
Mm-hmm.
No, my thing matters right now. My thing matters the most. My thing matters right now. Just like with the dude, Leon Thomas. I feel good when I get to win against the girls. I feel good. Now I am happy. It's very important. I get to be happy. I get to be happy in the middle of the road. This is about me right now.
A lot over. Do you have enough money to pay for everything you need? Well, Republicans do nothing to obstruct our efforts to lower your gas taxes. I propose that. I've asked the Congress to eliminate the federal gas tax for the next, as long as this crisis goes on. Lower food prices, lower health care costs. Hopefully soon, lower your prescription drug costs. By the way, you got a Republican leader in the United States Senate. I was able to work out something with Intel. They're going to provide a lot over.
Well, it's a new approach. The prices are high because Republicans are blocking my agenda.
Yep.
The Republicans won't vote for the food prices to be lower, honey. They're just all out there voting against the make the food prices be lower magic wand bill. Not that a ton of economists haven't pointed out that the Biden agenda has made inflation worse, and everything that he wants to do would make it even more worse. Right? Like that's what the actual economists say about all his proposals to do something about inflation, is that it will make it worse. Just like his problem with the strategic oil reserves, where they're now at their like lowest point ever, and we're going to be in trouble if we actually need them. So go us. That's great. Everything Biden does makes things worse. And I mean, I don't see. So I spent a bunch of time like looking at congressional races a little bit and the projections of different things. And like, I mean, I think the Republicans will take back the House for sure. The Senate is like a little more iffy, but basically I think like max the Republicans could pick up like 4 seats in the Senate. Like that's sort of the best case scenario, I think, is they could end up at like 54-46. So it's like still not enough for them to really do anything.
Well, do anything may change depending on this election and how polling looks afterwards.
I mean, I guess that's true. But yeah, because like different people are up in 2024, obviously. But
also, the push is on. It is so desperate out there that it is 2024 for Democrats. I think a lot of them have looked past this November, know it's going to be a washout, know that they're screwed. And they're saying, we need to start a campaign now. Somebody needs to start a campaign now. And the fact that they're looking at Gavin Newsom is effing bizarre because, I mean, we've been talking about this guy for 20 years on the right, since he was mayor of San Francisco. And he is a deranged man. You know, I guess he was good looking. I don't really think he is anymore. But
he sort of has a vampire-looking thing going on.
But he's like in the same vein as Trudeau. He's highly malevolent, arrogant beyond belief. He is somebody who enjoys the trappings of elitism. And he's run a state into the ground.
Yeah, I don't think that flies in most of America. I mean, can you think of a modern president that got elected that didn't have some credibility as like regular guy, average Joe kind of guy? I mean, like, so obviously, like, that's part of the Joe Biden appeal, right? Is that he's like Scrappy Joe from Scranton, or whatever. I mean, it's BS. But what I'm saying is that
I don't know. Obama did Obama have a regular guy thing?
I think he did a little bit.
He was not regular guy. He was an extraordinary story. There was no story like his, really.
I mean, that's true in a sense, but he like. I think that even though he wasn't necessarily the best at selling it, that he was that guy. I think that he had some kind of like, you could have a beer with this guy aspect to him.
Right? You know what? We should put him aside because I think there are other motives for many people in America, and I know you're not supposed to say that for electing him.
Yeah, but I still think there's like something about Obama. Like, I would eat dinner with the Obamas.
Well, how about this?
Right? Would you not?
I don't. I could hang out with him. Michelle isn't my speed.
Okay, fine. But you could hang out with him.
Sure.
He's like normal guy in that sense. Like he's somebody that you could. But would you eat dinner with Gavin Newsom?
No.
Right.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
He's a preak. But also, here's the thing about Obama is also Obama was blessed because he was showcased next to Hillary.
Well, yeah, that would make anybody look relatable.
Right. So next to her, yeah. But they're all excited about Newsom. I don't understand. Like, you want Newsom? They tried to recall him in California. Why not just push Beto back? Like, they keep finding these people who are...
Well, who do they have who's good? Really? Like, who's good? Who would be, like, smart for them to run in 2024?
Is Tim Ryan still
No.
thing?
I mean, he exists. He is in America, but I mean, like,
Who's good? Who's
good? If you were the Democratic Party right now, who would you be trying to get to run?
I mean, there were...
I mean, honestly, this is going to sound nuts because he's terrible in so many ways, but I almost think they'd have a better shot with Andrew Cuomo than almost anyone else.
He does come...
He did kill all the people in the nursing homes and
Right,
gropes women,
but he was good at infrastructure, as a matter of fact.
But I feel like in terms of, like, likability and name recognition and, like, being having the appearance of being semi-competent and, like, being able to run an administration, he, like, has that more than almost any other Democrat that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think of...
I mean, unless you had somebody like Charlie Baker or Larry Hogan decide to run as a Democrat. Switch parties.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that working. But, like, I mean, I don't know how they'd fare in a primary either, necessarily. But
it's very tough, because it's very hard to think of somebody...
Their bench sucks. I mean, that's the thing, is, like, and this is, I think, still the dividends of the Tea Party movement in 2010 are still sort of showing up for Republicans here, because I do really feel, and obviously I'm biased because I like the Republicans more than I like the Democrats, but I think that the Republicans have, like, a plethora of great people that they could run for a lot of throughout a variety of states, people with real credibility who've had real jobs and done real stuff and are actually good at this and are likable and good candidates. I don't think the Democrats have the same thing. I think a lot of their people are just terrible.
I would have said, had he still been in the party, that Andrew Yang is interesting and refreshing. And UBI no longer seems as crazy as it was since we UBI'd everybody.
Although I don't know if he has the establishment chops to, like, win a primary, which somebody like Andrew Cuomo would. And I understand he's damaged now, but I still think that he might be a better choice for them than a lot of other people. Like, what, you're going to run Buttigieg? Like,
give me Buttigieg 2 years ago. I mean, Buttigieg has coughed up infrastructure. He can't. He's over. He's done.
You can't. In the world where nobody can fly on planes and all the goods in America are stuck at the ports, you can't have the transportation guy.
No, all you have to do is a split screen of him saying something and all the port backups and, mothers looking for milk, and then him claiming that Chasten is a mother. Like, seriously,
we understand the formula shortage too. Like,
come on, like, who's an interesting? It's like once in a while, like, there are some Democrats who are moderate sometimes, like Bob Menendez. He's got trouble with the law, but he doesn't want Israel to be pushed into the sea. It's very tough.
But yeah, there's almost no one left in their party who's not absolutely insane or, like, completely useless and incompetent. Or, I mean, there's people like Klobuchar, too, but she's so unlikable, like...
I mean, I like her for different reasons.
I mean, I know, but maybe Booker is pretty good.
Yeah, but it matters, because Booker is pretty good because he's so damn charismatic and personable until he's not. And he assumed a new personality during the election last time.
Right.
It was terrible. And so it's like, oh, so I see this you can work a room and you've got a good smile and you know how to make eye contact. But when it comes down to it, when the lights are on you, then you retreat to a personality you think is better suited. You can't, I mean, maybe that was just presidential maturity. Who knows? So, but when he turns it on, he's very charming. That's a good one. There's no doubt about that. Other than that, like, you look at the people there, like,
Liz Warren's obviously
she's
angling.
obviously awful. Bernie is awful.
Well, Bernie
Castro
said he's
is
not going
awful.
to run.
Swalwell obviously is a mud maggot.
So this might sound crazy and out of left field, but AOC will be old enough.
Yeah, but she's a nuts ideologue.
Yeah, but I mean, like, people liked Bernie, and He's also nuts.
At least he put a little time in. You know, he went to Russia when it was the Soviet Union and quite liked it. You know, I mean, he's an old communist hippie. Those are kind of vetted and we're used to them. She's a spoiled, rich, beautiful woman who made demands of her constituents and went to the Met Gala.
If I were the DNC, I would feel better about having her than Kamala as the top of the ticket.
Well,
because with AOC, it's like a moonshot, but like at least there's a chance there that something nuts will happen and AOC will be president. Like with Kamala, like she's just so awful. You know that you're screwed with Kamala. It's a safer choice, obviously, but it's like... But yeah, I can't think of anyone. Their party sucks. Everyone's terrible. They're not, like, in shape to try and win a presidency. And Biden is making it worse by the fact that he keeps saying he's going to run.
Yeah, he is. But how does he not do that? I mean, it goes against every political instinct he has.
Well, and in some sense, it probably, in terms of like him getting stuff done right now, it probably is the right and smart thing for him to continue to say that.
Right, you can't make yourself a lame duck 2 years early.
Right. I mean, he's not, I mean, of course, he's not going to be able to get anything done anyway either because he's just so bad at this. But I don't... Yeah, at some point, like, the party has to say, like, we need to look forward at 2024 because this isn't working out right now.
Yeah, well, it's a mess. The thing is, but they also just
like,
don't...
what will be left of their party? Because they're making their own voters so mad right now, right? Like, there's all these memes going around among, like, liberal activists, like, very far lefties who are just furious that Roe v. Wade was allowed to happen. Furious that the Biden administration isn't doing anything about it.
And they had 6 weeks. Remember, they got a tip.
Mm-hmm. They
should have had entire campaigns. Mm-hmm. The entire communications shop half of them should have been made.
Ready.
Yes, and bring in other people and make a task force and have a plan. As a matter of fact, not only have a plan, but that's a lifeline for the election. If you have a whole campaign that's about women's health, reproductive rights,
right,
and have it multi-tiered, have it kitchen table, and have it ideological, well, then you've maybe got something going here.
Instead, Debra Messing is screaming at them on the phone.
Right.
And all the liberal activists are posting memes saying, don't ask me for any money anymore and don't tell me to vote harder and all this stuff. Like, you guys have both houses of Congress and you have the presidency and you're telling me to vote more? Like, we put you there, do something about this. Like, they're just mad at their own party right now. Like, the whole Roe getting overturned decision, even though I think it's a right decision and I'm happy about it, was fraught with risk for Republicans and could have definitely hurt them going into the November elections. But the way that it's shaping up, the way that the Biden administration and Democrats are handling it, it's looking more to me like this is going to end up hurting Democrats. That their own voters are going to be demoralized, stay home, be angry at their own party, not vote, not donate money. Like, Debra Messing isn't mad at me. She's not mad at Clarence Thomas. I mean, maybe a little bit. But mostly, she's mad at the Biden administration, who's, in her view, letting Roe get overturned and then calling her up, asking her to do something about it. Which, like, yeah, if I were their voters, I'd be pissed too. Don't call me up and ask me for money. Don't call me up and ask me to do something. You're the freaking president. We put you there. You're the one who's supposed to do something. That's how the Democrat voters feel right now. And, like, I mean, I can't say I blame them. That's why I, like, feel good about my vote for Trump, even though he's so annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is because at the end of the day, Roe did get overturned. Like, I got what I was looking for, actually, out of the Trump presidency.
Ooh, hey, how about although he'd have to switch parties, how about this for a Democrat?
Okay.
John Huntsman.
I mean, yeah, he's like in the Charlie Baker kind of thing. I could see it happening. Or even like Schwarzenegger could switch parties and do it. Or he's not born here, right? I forgot. But yeah, I remember when there was talk about Republicans drafting him and trying to get the law changed so that he could be president. That's funny.
Yeah, or how about the Mavericks owner?
Oh, I don't know.
Jobs.com.
Oh, Cuban?
Yes.
Mark Cuban?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but now we're out of the realm of like politicians, right?
Now you're into the pool of Trumps.
Right. Right. Now you're in, again, like moonshot candidates, right? There's no establishment bench. That's why they're floating Hillary again. Like, what are they doing talking about Hillary running again?
Well, if you're going to get Hillary, then you might as well get, who just lost the governor's race in Virginia? Terry McAuliffe. Might as well get him. You know, his negatives aren't nationally as high as hers are because people don't know him. He's a politician from the days when people were sane, but then again, he just lost on the parents' issue, so they could use that against him, so he'd be useless. It's remarkable. I don't know. It's maybe, but somebody like Tammy Duckworth. But do people know who she is? She is
she's
vet.
Decent. She was definitely in the conversation for like VPs when Biden was saying he was going to pick a VP.
Yeah, and she's a veteran, and she's seems to be a serious human being. Maybe I don't.
Yeah, and then you could have some more people who would be more like Buttigieg was this last cycle, who are sort of random small-time politicians. Like nobody's looking at the mayor of South Bend, you know. But you could have like people who are congressmen or people who are mayors or of relatively large cities and towns that could, you know, show up and Keisha Lance Bottoms.
I am going to pick Lori Lightfoot. I'm going to endorse her.
That would be an error on the part of Democrats.
I'm going to endorse her
to go that route. But I mean, people are already talking about what's the New York guy, Eric Adams.
Yeah,
people are already talking about him too.
Why? He's a moron. He's ruining everything. He's a dumb. Goodness. Let's want to do a little chat before we go.
I guess let's do chat. Someone commented and said like chat thumbs down, and I'm not sure if they meant because they don't like the chat. Or because they were upset that we only did like 2 chat calls yesterday before I got sidetracked and talked about something else, and we didn't.
Yes, elaborate on your hatred for the chat.
Explain why you're mad at the chat from yesterday, okay? Because
hey, Tom, sure. I was wondering if you were going to go on your radio show and discuss if Nancy Pelosi's breasts were real or not. All right, bye.
So you saw this picture?
No.
There's a picture of her like on vacation. Just search Nancy Pelosi. It's going to come up. But I mean, okay, like whatever.
Pelosi in Italy?
Yeah. I don't really care, frankly, how Pelosi looks in a swimsuit because she sucks for so many other reasons that I like can't, or in a whatever swimsuit top or whatever that is. Like I don't really care. And for a lady who's like 100 or whatever she is, I don't think she honestly looks that terrible. I don't really
I think
care.
that Nancy Pelosi, I think she's probably real. I think that's probably real stuff. I think that in 1963, that was a fine-looking American young lady there. Absolutely. Yeah. So I endorse young Nancy Pelosi. I don't want to try to sexualize this version of Nancy Pelosi. Sorry about that. Oh, who was the one who was so cute when she was... the Republican who ran, the Italian woman who ran last time around.
Marilinda Garcia.
No, Alice. She ran for president. She ran Compaq or something. Hewlett Packard.
Oh, in California?
Yeah,
No.
Carly
Oh,
Fiorina.
Carly Fiorina. You think she's hot?
No, in the 60s she was, though.
Oh, God, I'm starving. My wife has me on a juice cleanse. 3 days of water, green juice,
Oof.
pumpkin soup for some reason, and disgusting shakes. Yeah, I don't necessarily recommend it. Whatever weight I've lost, I'm sure I'll make back 3 times over on vacation. And I will say I'm hungry enough that I could actually eat one of those New York Supreme pizzas with broccoli and artichokes on it.
Yeah.
So beware.
Yeah, no, Dan, I am probably going to... Well, I just talked to a guy this morning who did one of these like crazy diets where they put you on stuff. And he said it was that he lost 100 pounds and that he was absolutely miserable for the entire time. Then he gained, or at least a lot of the weight back, I think. But it was miserable. But I may be on my way, Alice. I may be one of these people very soon, in which case I'll be highly...
Are we allowed? We're probably embargoed. Okay.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that.
I didn't really mean to start a fire there with the whole Elliot Page thing, but it just makes me wonder where, since Ellen is departed this earth, I wonder where the money is going to go. Is it going to go to the wife or the family? I don't know. All right, bye.
More than departed, Justin. Ellen Page has never existed.
I don't even know what name that is.
Nope,
and
has never
and I don't appreciate
been
that
on
name
planet
being...
Earth, so we can't even speculate.
Correct, yes. We highly condemn what we just heard from Justin.
Thank you so much for listening. As always, everybody, you can leave us those messages for the chat at burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's a red button where you can leave a message. You can also email us, burnbarrelpodcast@gmail.com, or always find us on social media at burnbarrelpod on Twitter.
I want to add something here, Alice.
Okay.
You've been condemning, you condemned the gay boy today, which is excellent.
Is that not allowed? Are you not allowed to call somebody a gay boy?
But we've also, Allison,
Okay.
keep it 1517 project, okay? But we've been talking about all these teachers who are trans or gay and this is coming out to their kids and using their kids as sounding boards. There is a straight, very attractive teacher on TikTok who did the same thing, and I want to play this audio of her, and we'll condemn her.
Me telling my students my ex-BF texted me.
Are you ready? So, there I was minding my own business, and guess who texted me last night? My ex-boyfriend.
What did he say?
He said, I wish every single night I wish that I could text you, but I just don't, frowny face.
What? Can we see the text?
He's definitely sus for sure.
Why don't you get back up?
I didn't text him back, should I?
Yeah.
Okay, psycho. Obviously, she should be removed from teaching.
Yes, I also want the Don't Say Gay Bell to include taking her out of a teaching position because that's nuts and obviously should be banned. Wait, do I have to start over? Did you start the song
where you left off.
Well, but then will I have too much time left at the end?
Yeah, probably. Don't worry about it. It's dwindling as we speak, Alice. It's almost over. You're crashing the train into the station as we speak.
Such Burn Barrel Podcast. What else can you do? You can write us a review on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that.
Does anybody stick around for this part of the show?
No.
C'est la vie.